Hello, YouTubers. Joe Kersey here on the 6th of March, 2015, uh, at just about 13:30 in the afternoon Eastern Time. Uh, now, it's continuing medical education time of year. It's the continuing medical education time of year, and there are a lot of ways to do that. Now in Ohio, you have to have uh, 50, 50 hours of 50 hours of Category 1 uh, every year. Well, you need 150 hours every 3 years. Um, and they have Category 1 and Category 2, and Category 2 is basically some sort of stuff you can document yourself. Category 1 is some sort of organized program by some sort of accredited, organization or educational institution, that sort of thing. I just basically do 50 hours of Category 1 a year, and that sees me through. There are various ways to do it. I used to go up to Chicago for a week. For a number of years. I'd go up there for a week in May, and just as the ash trees were coming into leaf, so I'd miss one of the best times of year here. But that just got to be a bit too expensive, because that whole week cost about $3,000. The meeting itself was about $1,000. And then the hotel room and so forth would amount, well, maybe it'd run me, when all's said and done, you're looking at around between $2,500 $3,000. I just couldn't justify that expense. Although it was a very nice meeting. It was a review course. A lot of the people that were taking it were reviewing for their board examinations. Well, I passed my board examinations back in I passed the written in 78, and then you had to wait 2 years to take your oral, and so I passed my oral 2 years later and got my full anesthesia board certification in October of 1980. Went up and took the orals in the middle of my divorce. That was a calming time to go and do that. So anyway, it was a good course, and you had, they had, it was 8 hours a day of lectures, and they generally had a couple of nice meals, and sometimes they had a couple of lunch speakers, and yeah, it was a good meeting, and in fact, I may go back to that sometime. Then there was another pretty good meeting that Harvard put on. See, you got 50 hours. If you did the whole week, you got 50 hours. So that just took care of it. Boom, right then. Harvard puts on a couple of good review courses. But the one I went to, I think I went up there about 3 times. I went up there twice. I went up there 3 times. But you only got 30 hours credit for that. And it didn't go the whole week. It was about a 4-day thing. And so it was a good meeting, but, it's a considerably longer trip to Boston from Columbus and to Chicago. I mean, it's a 6-hour drive for me to go to Chicago, but it's a 14-hour drive to go to Boston. And I've driven that several times. But then I just decided to try to find something a little bit more cost effective, more CME bang for the buck, so to speak. And around 14 years ago, I started doing this New England Journal Review Continuing Medical Education Program. And it's run by the Massachusetts Medical Society, and they publish the New England Journal of Medicine, which I have taken since 1972. I have a life subscription. I paid $300 for that in 1972, and I don't think they even offer a life subscription anymore. And they raised it to $600, and then about a year or so after that, they just discontinued it, and that was back in the 70s. So I got in under the wire on that one. But you know what they do is they ask you a series of questions based on you have the typical old fill in the circle with a number 2 pencil answer sheet. They ask you a series of questions based on the articles, but read the article, answer a question, answer maybe read the article, answer a question, and then they'll go through the 26 issues in that 6-month period, or 25 issues in that 6-month period. Answer the question, send the answer machine in, they grade it. If you get over 70%, then you get your CME credit. So today I won't show you the questions I did because I got my answers written alongside them. But it's this format. It's actually just a standard A, B, C, or D answer. The first 3 years, I think that I did this, they had what were known as K-type questions, which are considerably harder to answer. Because the K-type question, for those of you who aren't familiar with that, is you have, the first answer A is 1, 2, and 3 are correct. Answer B is 1 and 3 are correct. Answer C is 2 and 4 are correct. Answer D is only D is correct. And answer E is, and here's the hooker, none of the above are correct. So it's typically written specialty boards, and that for that matter, written state boards are in the format of a K-type question. So you're effectively asking 5 questions in one question. I've written K-type questions when I was teaching. I would write K-type questions, and to write 20 K-type questions, would take you upwards of 8 to 10 hours easily, and that's if they're going well. That's if they're coming easily to you. But anyway, the first 3 years of this, it took a lot. And some of the questions are very ambiguous, and inevitably you're going to have ambiguous, so you choose the best solution, and it's like taking a test. It's like taking a test anywhere. But then they've gone to this, answer A, B, C, only one of the selections is correct. So it's a lot easier. Well, it's a lot faster, let's put it that way. You still have to go through and some of these articles are just god-awful boring. Lord. On the other hand, well over half of them, they make you end up, reading about stuff that it's good to refresh yourself on every now and again anyway. That's why they call it continuing medical education. So that usually takes me about between 6 and 10 days to do, depending on what else is happening here around the place. And so I did 10 questions a day, and I try to do between 6 and 8 questions a day, and then because I have till May 2nd to finish it, and then of course after I get done doing this, then I got to do taxes. That's often an education in and of itself, yet again. When you try to figure out the changes in some of these forms and regulations. So that's it for today, YouTubers. Fun times here on the Island of Peace in CME land. Alrighty, bye-bye.